Alright guys, so I'm going to be talking to you right now about a few of the things that have been going on behind the scenes with me and my family over the past couple of months. And more importantly, the reason for my silence throughout the whole of the last 2 months with regard to this specific topic. This is the one and only time I am ever going to address this. After this video, I am not going to be addressing this again. A lot of people out there have wrongly jumped to so many conclusions about me. Wrongly and ignorantly named and labelled me so many things. Twisted so much and made so many presumptions about so many things that are just completely wrong and disgusting. So let me start from the top. The only reason that I have stayed quiet and not addressed this until now was because of the advice given to me by our legal team. We have some of the best lawyers in the country that support me, that support us as a family, that support our business. And their advice from the very start of this was that we were to put out an initial statement on my Twitter, which I did, and then I was to say absolutely nothing. I wasn't to address this on my channel or otherwise. I wasn't to rise to any hate on any level, no matter how bad it was. And believe me, that alone has been one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. The safety of my family, and more importantly, our children, has been our priority over any other. And due to the nature of the things that people online have portrayed me as being, taking and acting on the advice of our legal team in this has been the most important thing for us to do. That alone is the only reason I have stayed quiet on this and not addressed this until now. The only reason. Nothing to do with being guilty. Nothing to do with being ashamed or anything else. Any of the other ideas that I've seen and read about me over the last couple of months. Nothing. The only reason we've stayed quiet on this until now is because we've been acting on the advice of our legal team, and that's it. So let me make this very clear. Have I ever done anything that could be classed as sexually grooming somebody? No. Hell no. Of course I haven't. Am I a paedophile? No. Hell no. Am I a sexual predator? No. No. Have I ever done anything that could be classed as being sexually inappropriate to anybody? No. And now enough is enough. Now I want to talk to you guys about the relentless harassment that is happening to my family day in, day out at the minute. I can almost understand, knowing the way that the internet works, knowing the way the world works, how when a group of people feel like someone has done something so wrong, that people like to jump on a bandwagon, people like to get involved and put their 2 pence in, put their opinion across, and it's very easy to do so from behind the screen of a phone or the screen of a computer. Very, very easy. I don't agree with it whatsoever. In fact, I think it's absolutely disgusting that people do that, but I understand and I know that it happens because I know the way the world works. I know the way social media works. But the one thing in all of this that really disturbs me is the complete and utter lack of regard for my children in all of this. Those poor, innocent girls that don't deserve any of this. Those poor girls that are currently having their lives tainted and ruined in ways that none of you could imagine from behind your phone screens or behind your keyboards at home. All of you keyboard warriors at home, behind your phone screens, throwing out every single disgusting statement onto the internet that you can think of, especially onto Twitter, YouTube, using my name in every wrong and disgusting way that you can right now, yet without a single second's thought to the seriousness and the damage that you're causing on the other side of it. Not just to my life, and not just to Sarah's life, but more importantly, to my girls' lives. The past 2 months, without a shadow of a doubt, have been the most testing and difficult months of my entire life. I guarantee that no matter what I go through in my life from now onwards, nothing will be tougher than the last 2 months that I've been through. We could have lost our business, something that Sarah and I, and the girls even, have all together collectively killed ourselves over for the last 2 years so that we could give our children a better future, a future that we could have never imagined being able to give them before. We could have lost our home, we could have lost our family, our marriage, our friends, our reputation, everything. I don't think anybody that's online harassing people, writing disgusting things online about somebody has any idea about the damage that it is causing and it can cause on the other side of it. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do from your nice, safe home, you know, write something disgusting about somebody on the internet and send it off and it's gone. You don't think about it again. But boom, it does cause so much damage. It's absolutely disgusting. Do you think it's right that my girls are getting ready to start a brand new school year soon? Esme is starting a brand new school entirely. And it's a really massive deal for her. It's a huge deal for Sarah and I's parents. All three girls are getting ready to go back to school soon. And instead of being excited about the new school year coming up, instead of being excited about Esme's brand new school year coming up and all the amazing changes she's going to go through or she would be going through, instead of being excited about that, the only thing that Sarah and I are feeling right now is the worst worry and anxiety that you could imagine about the fact that our children are probably going to go back to school this term and be relentlessly bullied by people, ignorantly and misguidedly, relentlessly bullied by people who misguidedly, completely ignorantly and wrongly think that their dad is a paedophile or a kiddie fiddler or a groomer or interested in children in an inappropriate way. Like, what parent should ever have to go through that? What child should ever have to go through that? I am not a sexual groomer. I am not a paedophile. I am not a kiddie fiddler. I am not a sexual predator or any of the other ridiculous crap that I have seen written about me online. Never in my life have I ever done anything that could be even remotely considered that. Not ever. I'm just a normal, hard-working husband and father. Normal guy. Just a straightforward, normal guy. And that's it. All of the continued relentless harassment that Sarah and I are facing online at the minute, especially on Twitter, is disgusting. It's absolutely outrageous. And that alone is the only reason Sarah and I no longer have our Twitter accounts. Nothing to do with the fact that we're guilty or ashamed or running away or hiding or anything like that. Nothing at all to do with that. The only reason we no longer have our Twitter accounts is because we couldn't stand coming online every single day, trying to use our own Twitter accounts as normal and seeing just the absolute and utter vast amount of crap that was being thrown at us every single day. Complete and utter rubbish. Like, you couldn't even imagine the disgusting things that were being written about us online every single day. People talking about me being some sort of a sexual predator, a paedophile, a groomer, all this sort of stuff constantly, relentlessly. Not even just limited to Sarah and me, but it's our extended families too. My parents, Sarah's parents, our aunts and uncles, brothers, sisters, right the way down the family line. There are people dedicating their lives right now to try and taint every single aspect of mine and Sarah's lives in a completely inappropriate, wrong, untrue way. And it's absolutely and utterly disgusting. That alone is the only reason Sarah and I deleted our Twitter accounts, for our own sanity. That's it. All of this continued harassment that Sarah and I are facing every day has turned into nothing other than a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt, and it's absolutely outrageous. We can't even use our own personal Instagram accounts to show our followers, the people that support us every day, pictures that we want to show them, videos that we want to show them, because when we do, they're just spammed relentlessly with absolutely disgusting comments, untrue statements, and rubbish beyond belief by anonymous accounts, even not anonymous accounts, just people who are completely and utterly misguided in what they're thinking about myself and about Sarah. My phone number and my address was posted online. In fact, this has been done multiple times over the past 2 months. Something that shouldn't ever happen to anybody. I had people calling my phone relentlessly, like literally every minute, calling my phone relentlessly, giving me death threats, telling me that they were going to come to my house and set my home on fire in the night with my children in it. They were going to come to my house and harm me in front of my children. They were going to come and do all sorts of things to my property, to my car. They were going to catch me on the street and seriously harm me. People actually turning up at my home address too. And I do want to put this out there that not one single person that has actually come to my home address since my address was posted online has done so in an angry or a nasty way. It's only been people who have come to show support, or just people to come and say hi and be nice, people who support us and love us. Nobody of the bad category has turned up or anything like that's happened. But it has got to a stage where Sarah and I don't feel safe in our own home anymore at all. To the point where we've had to put our brand new house, our beautiful home that we love so much, we've had to put it on the market to sell because we can't live there anymore. We just don't feel safe at all. So we need to sell that house and move to somewhere much more private where nobody knows our address and we can feel safe again. Calling somebody publicly the disgusting things and wrong things that people have been calling me is such a dangerous thing to do. It's inciting violence and hatred on such a public level, such a public platform, that I could have literally anybody walk up to me in the street without warning and attack me and seriously harm me, even kill me, all because they've got some misguided and wrong idea that I'm interested in children or that I'm some kind of sexual predator from all of this rubbish that's online, which is just completely and utterly untrue and wrong. Nobody would know this from my vlogs that we put out every day, but behind the camera, I'm a complete and utter wreck right now. I've lost all of my confidence in myself. I've lost all of the confidence and love for what we do, and I'm constantly living in fear. Fear of somebody turning up at my house or somewhere I'm at in the street to hurt me. Fear of the next set of harassing statements online. Fear of the next small YouTuber trying to use my name in a defamatory and wrong way for their own personal gain. How has that become acceptable nowadays? Smaller YouTubers that maybe get 100 to 200 views per video now do a video on exposing Chris Inghams and they get a couple of 100,000 views. So the same small YouTuber then does multiple videos using my name in the title, exposing Chris Inghams version 2 or whatever it may be. And they keep these views rolling in and rolling in. All just to gain their own personal following, to increase their own public profile, to earn money from monetization, whatever it might be, but without a second's thought to all of the damage that that video is having on the other side of it. Not one single thought to the repercussions that they're having on myself, on my children, on my pregnant wife. My anxiety right now is on an all-time high. It's no secret to anybody that I struggled very badly in my late teens, especially with OCD. I am yet to do a video on that. I am going to do that. But it's no secret to anybody that I used to struggle very badly with my mental health when I was younger. And right now, my mental health is on an all-time low, to the point where I'm having to take anti-anxiety medication every single day just to get me through the day. And then this past weekend happened, when we arrived in Australia. As we arrived in Australia, we all came through immigration together. I was asked to step to one side, and Sarah and the girls were told that they could carry on and enter the country, and they were fine. But I was taken to a holding cell. I was stripped of my phones, stripped of my computer, my iPads, and everything else that I had on me. I was put in a holding cell and I was left there for 3 hours, not knowing why I was being held, not being told anything at all, absolutely terrified and scared out of my mind. My poor wife, who is very early pregnant, who hadn't been to sleep all night. We'd had a night flight the night before, none of us had slept. We'd arrived at 7 a.m. into Australia and she'd been told to go out into the terminal and her husband had been taken away And she was left there also with 3 children who were desperate to know where their dad was, why I'd been taken away. Sarah, worried out of her mind, no idea what's happening with me. Nobody told her anything. Nobody was talking to her at all. So she was worried sick for 3 hours. My pregnant wife, who hadn't slept, who is suffering so badly right now with morning sickness, she had to sit in an airport terminal on her own with 3 children who were desperately anxious and terrified about where their dad was. She had to sit there and worry for 3 or more hours, having no idea where I was, what was going on with me, why I was being held, nothing. Until
Hello, Chris Inghams speaking.
After around 3 hours, I was told that the reason I was being held was because somebody had made some kind of anonymous tip-off to Border Force in Australia that I had been apparently on the run from the UK police for grooming young girls in the UK, or something along them lines, something disgusting like that, and that they had to investigate those claims before that they could let me into the country. They had stripped and downloaded every piece of personal and private information from my phones, my computer, my iPads, interviewed me numerous times, for which I told them the full story of what's been going on with me for the past 2 months. They found absolutely nothing on any of my devices whatsoever. The police back home confirmed also that I certainly was not on the run from them for anything, and that they were not investigating me for anything, and had never been investigating me for anything. And with an apology, after more than 4 hours, I was allowed to enter the country and go. I was told, semi-reassuringly, that apparently this kind of thing isn't uncommon. An ex-girlfriend is mad at her ex-boyfriend for whatever reason who's travelling into a country, so she drops an anonymous tip-off to the border force of that country that he's carrying something he shouldn't be perhaps, and the boyfriend gets stopped and investigated before they can be let in the country. It was without doubt the most scary, surreal and terrifying thing that I've ever been through in my entire life. The entire 4 hours I was just sick. I couldn't believe what was happening. We just spent the whole night excited about the fact that we were about to start our adventure in Australia, somewhere we've never been to before, somewhere we've saved up for months to be able to afford, somewhere we've looked forward to and talked about for months, somewhere we've planned to give Isabel the best 13th birthday that she can ever have, because that's the reason for this trip, is for Isabel. And so that we can give her the 13th birthday that we want to give her. All of that was about to be destroyed. All of that was about to be destroyed. I had no idea if I was going to see my family again, or what was going to happen to me, where I was going to be sent. Not to mention my poor pregnant wife, who was left for more than 4 hours, not knowing anything at all. Nobody spoke to her. She had no clue about why I was being kept, if she was going to see me again, where I was, what was happening with me. She was going out of her mind with worry. Her and my children went through absolute hell. At the start of something that should have been so happy and so positive, they went through absolute hell. And that is not acceptable on any level. That is way beyond harassment. It's way beyond anything that anybody should ever have to endure. And anybody watching this right now that thinks that calling an anonymous false and fake wrong tip into a border force and having that happen to a family, anybody that thinks that that is acceptable to do that to a family, then I just don't have any words for that. I am constantly terrified at the minute that the stress of everything that's going on, the stress of all of this relentless hounding that Sarah and I are being faced with right now, I'm so terrified that this is going to cause her to miscarry our baby. She's under the worst stress that I could ever imagine a new mum having to be under. No one who is newly pregnant, no one at all should ever have to go through stress like this, let alone when you've just found out you're pregnant, and you should be celebrating and enjoying this new amazing chapter in your life. No pregnant mum should have to deal with the stress that is on Sarah's head constantly at the minute because of all this. And I am just terrified every single day that this relentless hounding that we're going through right now is going to cause her to miscarry our baby. The fact of the matter is that all of these people who are hounding me right now and hounding Sarah right now, all of the people that are posting these disgusting, wrong, completely incorrect and defamatory statements about me online right now, the ones that are trying so hard to destroy the Ingham family, why? Why would anybody want to do that to a family? Why would anybody want to do that to poor, innocent children? Why would anybody want to do that to anybody at all? Because let's be real about it. If you succeeded in destroying the Ingham family, you destroyed our business. We'd lose our home. We'd lose our house. The girls would lose their school. The two places that the girls feel safe, secure, and happy at, they would lose all of that. We would lose everything. Everything that Sarah and I have killed ourselves over to create and build for our children's future over the last 2 years. All of that, everything would be gone. Why would anybody want to do that to anybody? Especially children. Especially my children. Especially my child that's on the way. My pregnant wife. Why would anybody want to harm and hurt a family in that way? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're destroying my children, my unborn child that's on the way. They're the people that you're damaging right now and that you're hurting. Why would anybody want to do that? Especially to children. This is not just saying words online anymore. This has gone way, way past that. And it needs to stop now. I would just like to take a minute to say thank you to everybody that has supported me, supported Sarah and our girls through all of this from the very start. Every single one of you that watches our videos every day, thank you so, so much. That alone means more to us than we could ever tell you. We could never thank you enough for that, for your continued love, your continued support on every single thing that we do. Thank you so, so much from the bottom of all of our hearts. And lastly, if you are a minor and you feel you may have been experiencing any type of sexual grooming or sexual abuse of any kind, please go about reporting it the right way. I'm going to leave some links in the description box below for anybody that might feel that they need to use them.